On today's helpful hint, we're talking fishing line. For me, there's really only two types of line that I use all year long, whether we're on the hard water or on the boat. The go-to line for me on my spinning rods or as leader material pretty much 90% of the time is fluorocarbon. I usually use an 8 or a 10 pound fluorocarbon. I don't necessarily think the brand matters a whole lot, but that 8 or 10 pound fluorocarbon is the diameter that allows me to cast really far. It's really smooth. I can feel the bottom. I can jig with it, but yet it's strong enough that I can even land 20 and 30 pound lake trout with it. I really like fluorocarbon. The other type of line that I use, and I use it primarily just for jigging, is a braid. I prefer Power Pro. There's a lot of brands. I prefer Power Pro. The cool thing about this braid is it's super strong. The thing I don't like about braid is that it's not very clear. It's really easy for fish to see it. So what I do is I just take a barrel swivel and I tie on the end of my braid, and then I run about a 4-foot leader of fluorocarbon to my lure. This does two things, especially for lake trout. Number one, it keeps my lure from spinning on the bottom. When you jig with just plain fluorocarbon, the lures want to spin like that. This barrel swivel alleviates that. And number two, it gives me a nice clear leader, but I still get the sensitivity of braid. So when I'm jigging 80, 90, 100 feet, I can feel that bite, and I don't have the stretch when I go set the hook, but I've got the clear properties of my fluorocarbon. The other thing about fishing line that we need to talk about is knots. Quit tying overhand knots and breaking fish off. There's really two knots that I use, and I use them for everything. Okay. Knot number one. Go through the eye, come out, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches. Go back through the eye. Now we're going to tie a knot, just a good old overhand knot right here. Then take the loop, this loop right here, go around your jig, and pull your tag line. That's one of the strongest knots I know. The other knot, and it's more common, and I use it all the time, this is how I attach my barrel swivel to my braid and to my leader. Put the line through the eyelet, pull out a good amount, 4 or 5 inches. Now just spin your lure, or your swivel, or whatever you're tying on. Anywhere between 8 and 10 times, something like that. Spin it around and around and around. Now take the tag and feed it back through the very beginning, right here, back through the eyelet, and pull it. And pull that right there. Voila! If you learn to tie those two knots and those two knots only, I guarantee you, you're going to start catching more fish. For now, I'm Ryan with Weekend Warrior Outdoors, and that's this week's helpful hint.